Talk about the songwriting process. What your songwriting process is. Do you like to work on songs from the ground up? Do you like having a track kind of finished before you start working on the melody? Do you write the melody and then write the lyrics to the melody? How do you think about things?
Generally speaking, because I accidentally only work with very strong personalities, stubborn people, I almost have to let them take the first step first and then react, and allow them to see the reaction so they can build on the reaction. And that's the same across all those projects. I don't normally come in and go, here's a semi-finished or partially finished piece or bit or riff. Early days, yes, but once you start to see the strengths of other people you're working with, just step back, don't get in the way, stay in your lane. So you let those people chase their tails on some stuff, and they present you something that might be partially finished, that might be barely finished, might be very well developed, and then I create vocal rhythms to those
With
pieces.
syllables, usually? That
usually.
will suggest lyrics eventually.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just time. It's just driving around in the car with that one riff on loop, or in the winery or wherever, just letting it, you have to absorb it in order to react to it, to where it becomes second nature. You hear the upbeats, you hear the downbeats, you hear the breaks, and then, especially during Crush, because I'm a captive audience, Matt will come out with his rig during Crush, and we have a studio set up in the house. And so in between press loads or bin loads of destemming, pop down to the studio and just in the moment grab some stuff. And I say in the moment, I've spent weeks driving around the car trying to just mentally think about it and then lay down improv.
Improv wordless vocal, typically,
Correct.
with maybe a couple words in there or something?
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe not. And then you make a recording of that and then listen to that,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. And a lot of it then is me actually counting syllables and counting beats between, and then formulating what is the key line that attaches itself to the whole picture of this song. And then I'll build off that line, subject-wise. So it's very much a combination of prior work that, I couldn't do this if I haven't been doing it since high school.
Right.
You have to put the work in to really understand, like in choir in high school, like our choir teacher would play a note on the piano, and then she would go like this. That's the note. And then a cappella, all of us, we would have to sing to the note she's indicating by moving her hand up and down. And she would do this for about 4 measures. You sure? And then play the note on the piano to see how off we were.
Right.
So it's really it's drilling, just like jujitsu, just like anything you do. You have to drill the pieces to actually have a grip on the overall picture. So improvisation, it sounds, you just make it up. No, there's a lot of foundation, there's a lot of work that went into it before you do it, having done it for decades. So when I'm riffing to those pieces, I already have an idea of what I've done, what I haven't done, and how do you find a way to make it so that it's your signature. It's going to be your signature.
Yeah.
But how do you draw outside your own box?
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. This is actually Rick Beato 2. I've had it since the beginning of my main channel, and many of you are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, 87% of the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on this channel and on my main channel. This will help me get even more of my dream guests and help continue to grow both channels. Thank you. One of the things that you're particularly great at is writing over riffs. And that's one of the hardest things to do. What is your process with that?
Well, part of it is understanding rhythms, and like I said, driving around in the car, getting those riffs and those rhythms and those time signatures just to be part of your body, right? To understand what they are. And then in order to actually write good melodies, you have to have you have to have exposure. So the best art is, of course, stolen, right? So if you listen to shitty singers, you're probably not going to write great melodies. So going to the source, going to what has inspired you as far as melody. So Susie Sue and Joni Mitchell and Stevie Wonder and just incredible vocalists that navigate navigate those riffs, those melodies with a vocal melody that juxtaposed, balances, matches up, old Bon Scott timings and everything and rhythms. You have to have a background and understanding and listening to those things to know where to start.
I read your Joni Mitchell interview from 1995.
Oh, right.
And it was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Joni, talk about Joni Mitchell's music.
Well, she was excited about the article when it came out because I just let her waffle. Everybody tries to edit her down and try to pinch her into a particular agenda of questions, and I was like, no, just be you. Just talk like you write. And I just let her talk like she writes. It's just like all over the map, rhythmically, ups and downs and push and pulls, and that was the conversation. That's what I wanted out of I'm happy with what I got. You just can't go in with expectations with a conversation with Joni. That's it.
I had dinner with Joni last year. I asked her what her favorite record was, both songwriting and production, what she felt was the most fully realized. And she said that Court and Spark and Hejira were her two. She thought that the songwriting and the production were really...
Well, she's wrong. Blue is in there.
Well, she said about Blue, she's like, my dad used to say to me, there must be a lot of depressed people out there that they like this. And Blue is one of the greatest records of all time.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
So if I ask you this about your different, what records that you've made that you feel that the recording of it from a production point of view and the songwriting is something that you think is, or it could be individual songs even.
Well, yeah, and that's a very...
You made a lot of records.
I made a lot of records, but also I don't rest on my laurels with them. Going back to like AC/DC, right, with Brian Johnson, like that. This album is pretty much like that album, and it's a great thing. You know what you're going to get when you get a new, one of the newer AC/DC albums. But I don't write that way.
Right.
I'm trying to reinvent as I go. So I'm gonna say the last 3 recent albums because that's me trying to build on what I've already done.